Hi everyone, welcome back to my creative ego. So today I want to share with you guys a few graduation projects that I have been working on. So this is also going to be a tutorial because I do want to share with you guys a super simple way to make a really fancy graduation card. Well, maybe it's not that fancy, but it looks really nice. It looks like you spent time making it. And it's a super simple tutorial to follow and a super simple card to make. And if you're like me, if you're making multiple graduation cards, you guys know that some graduations have already passed and some are just around the corner. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So you are seeing right now, this is actually a graduation project that I was working on for my goddaughter. She is going to be in high school. She is still a Hello Kitty fan and I'm a Hello Kitty fan, so I thought that this was a really nice, elegant way to actually incorporate Hello Kitty. And I have to be super honest with you guys, but after I made this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I want one for myself. So I think I might actually make myself a lei as well. So if you guys are interested in learning how to make this graduation lei, leave me a note in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if that's something you're interested in. And I will try to put a tutorial together for that. But today, like I said, we'll be on these easel cards that can be used for graduation as well as thank you cards. And so I realized that not everyone's going to want a pink graduation card. So I'll definitely show you a lot of alternatives that you can do in terms of decorating. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this tutorial. So there are actually so many different options that you can use to create this card. So I would recommend watching the complete video first, and then that way you can choose what method you want to go with, and then you can also collect your supplies. And if it's going too fast at any time, remember you can always pause or rewind. So I'm going to use 2 black cardstocks and 1 yellow cardstock. So at this point it might sound like I am throwing so many different measurements at you, but what I want to do is actually show you guys how to cut these 3 pieces of cardstock so that you can make 2 cards. So I will give you guys the measurements on here as well, so don't worry about that. So let's go ahead and start off with the first cardstock. So if you cut the paper down the center at 4 1/4, you'll get 2 pieces. And from those 2 pieces, you want to cut that down to 8 1/2. So you should have 2 pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. On the second cardstock, you are actually going to cut out 2 squares that measure 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And the yellow cardstock for me is actually just going to be an accent piece. This is going to be where I write my message on. So I chose a lighter color so that my pen could show through. So I cut out 2 squares that measure 4 by 4 and 4 strips that measure 2 by 4. So you might also have a lot of leftover paper. Keep that because you'll be able to use that to decorate the card later on. So again, we cut out pieces so that we can actually make 2 separate cards. You can turn it into 2 graduation cards, a thank you card, or any other card that you want to turn it into later on, maybe a birthday card. So this is the pieces that you need to create 1 card. So 1 card, you're going to need 1 piece that measures 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. And this is going to be the card base. You're going to need a square that measures 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to need another square that measures 4 by 4 and 2 strips that measure 2 by 4 inches. So basically, we're going to start off by making the card. We're going to take the strip that measures 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. Just fold that in half. Simple, right? And as you open up this card, you're going to take the top piece and fold that down. So you're basically folding the top piece in half as well. And on that fold you just made, you have a top half which connects the card, and then the bottom half which opens the card. So you actually want to put adhesive on this bottom half. And then when you go to put the top part of this on, which is going to be the 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, you actually want to start from the top. This allows you to align the paper before actually sticking it down, or at least that's how I do it. So you guys can do it any other way that you want. So I know there's a whole lot of talking right now, and that's because it's a tutorial, but sometimes it gets confusing, right? So another way is just to watch the video as well. So hopefully that's helpful too. And this is basically the card. Now we're going to take all the yellow cardstock. This is more for decorative purposes. So on the inside, of course, you're going to have that square. That's going to be your 4 by 4 inches. And then you can actually add on the strips to the inside of the panel and also to the outside of the panel, as you see here. And of course, since this is an easel card, it's not going to stand on its own. You're going to actually have to pick something that has a little dimension to it, like say a rhinestone or a puffy sticker or something with dimension. And then you're going to put that on the card, the inside part of the card. And this is going to allow the card to bend, fold up, and stand like an easel. So it's dependent upon how you want the card to stand. So like I said, this is all subjective, all part of your own personal preference on how you want to create this card. So this is pretty much the base of the card. On the front you have options, like I said, decorate it any way that you want, but I wanted to create this looking like a cap and tassel. So what I did was I just took a circle punch and I cut out like maybe 8 pieces of my leftover cardstock, and then I just glued those all together to kind of look like the button at the top of the cap where the tassel hangs. And then you can actually make any type of tassel. You can actually use a real tassel if you wanted to. That's all, once again, personal preference. It's up to you. I just basically used a stamped out image. So this is pretty much the gist of how to create the easel card, but definitely make it your own. There's a lot other simpler options, like for one, you could go with a pre-made card and envelope that is shaped into a square already, or if you have one of these cards that's not exactly a square, you can trim it down and make it into a square. And like I said, it's so simple to do. You guys can put your own like school colors on here, decorate it any way that you want, and also you can create thank you cards, which I think is important as well. So I made quite a few of these to give out to friends and family. So all of them has different designs, and it's going to be dependent on what they're graduating for, elementary school, high school, college. And especially for college, it's really nice because you can play around with the different types of paper to match the school colors. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just a few that I made. thank you again for watching, and I also do want to say that it doesn't necessarily have to be a square. So I want to show you one of the older cards that I made maybe a couple years ago. So you guys might have seen it. If you are new to my channel, you probably haven't. So as you can tell, you can definitely use different shapes and decorate it for other occasions as well. In terms of decoration, of course, you can always use stickers, rhinestones, embellishments, or you can just draw things out if you want to. And if this is something that you want to share, I'll leave the information for this video in the description box down below. And like I said earlier, if you guys are interested in that lei tutorial, the money lei tutorial, let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I will try to put together a tutorial for that if there are a lot of people that are interested in it. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and stay tuned because there are more graduation projects that I want to share with you guys. And roll on down to my newest videos by hitting subscribe.